6, babe.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
This
I
is
got this.
Keeping It Real Estate with Mack and Martin. Today we're talking
Mhm.
about who's involved in your real estate transaction. Who is your power team? Who's going to be working for you when you decide you're ready to purchase your home? And what roles do they play? So that's
Right.
what we're talking about today. I'm going to give people a few minutes to come on um, so they can view us and watch us live today. So I'm Latanya. We're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Latanya Martin with Grand Style Homes. I'm the broker CEO there. And then we have, go ahead, Rob Mack.
Rob Sergio Mack. I'm a broker over at ABL Realty Services, real estate investor extraordinaire. Everything dope about real estate is me. You got to excuse my big Assurion headset because I'm still rocking like a cutoff stocking. And we're going to talk real estate to help y'all get from A to Z to the finish line because that's what we do. We get you to the finish
Absolutely.
line.
Absolutely. We get you in a home, get you closed, get it sold. So we're excited to be able to present these Facebook series for you all. Just a side note for those who have not and still looking to buy and want some additional information. This Saturday we are having a home buyers class. It's called Step into Home Ownership, and you can go to latanyamartin.com and go down to events and RSVP and register for that class on Saturday. So we're going to talk about some of the same things that you'll learn there, except there you'll actually be talking to a lender and talking. Um, we'll have a lender, title company, mortgage person, of course, and a real estate agent. They're telling you about the process. So, who's involved in your transaction, right?
Mm,
You are ready to buy, you are ready to rock and roll. What do you do first? And I'm going to suggest you call your realtor or a realtor who can
hmm.
connect your power team to
Right.
you. So that
Right.
that's the real estate agent, the realtor, the
Hmm.
realtist,
The real
the real
test.
estate broker, the
Real
realtist, the
estate
affiliate
agent.
broker.
And I think that that's the problem. People feel like a broker isn't an agent. Sometimes they don't really understand the difference between a real estate agent and a real estate broker. They feel like that a real estate broker can't assist them on the agent level, but people, it's one and the same. A real estate broker can help you find and sell your house. I mean, find and buy your house, or find a buyer to sell your house, just as a real estate agent can. So, a real estate agent, in a lot of the same practical senses, is the same as a real estate broker. All right.
Right. Why do you need one? I'm thinking about new construction. Do I really need a realtor? Do I really need a real estate agent? They got one sitting there right at the desk in the office. Yes, you do.
You
Because our
absolutely do.
And our goal is to represent you in
Hmm.
negotiations, helping
Right.
you understand the contract, helping you understand what your options are, what your incentives are, what's
Hmm.
available to you. And guess what, buyers? You don't have to pay us, right?
Exactly. Our fee
We're paid
comes from
by
the
the
seller.
seller. Absolutely.
Our fee
Now
comes from the
we'll
seller.
absolutely. Now we'll say this that most companies or a lot of companies do have a transaction or a brokerage fee. So there may
Hmm.
be a flat fee that you have to pay, but that's paid at closing, right? So and it's
Hmm.
minimal compared to real estate commissions.
Right.
And then you have some agents that are individual, and you have some agents that work as a team.
Hmm.
So always just like you're going to interview your realtor interview you, and then from there, once you decide who you're going to use, typically most agents, before you even can um, uh, start shopping, of course, you
Hmm.
get pre-approved. But before that, once you get pre-approved, we do a buyer's representation agreement. So that is part of the real estate process when working with your realtor, is a buyer's rep. Rob,
Hmm.
do you want to talk a little bit more about why is that needed?
Yes, ma'am. Um, First off, it's very important that you vet your real estate agent. Just don't take a real estate agent because they're your relative or just because they're a friend of the family, they go to church with you. This is the biggest investment that you will probably make in your life. So you want to make sure that you have a true real estate professional that's going to look out for your best interest. Not, they're going to find you the best house, not because you like the house, or your spouse likes the house, because it's a wise investment. And that's what a true agent is going to do. They're going to be able to make you put your feelings to the side and look at those numbers, look at the trends of the market, look at the resale value and things like that. But the buyer's rep agreement, that just pretty much locks you into a bound contract with that agent. And you really want to have that, because throughout this whole process, all of this paperwork that may seem intimidating is actually to protect you, the buyer, or you, the seller. So if you have once you have an agent and they sign that, you sign that buyer's rep, that means that that's your agent. So if another person wants to buy that same house that that agent may know, if you sign that rep agreement first, his or her loyalty has to lie with you. And that's very, very important. A lot of people get very nervous and intimidated. Oh, I don't want to sign. Oh, I need to let my lawyer look. All that's wasting time. Okay, that piece of paper is to protect you. So if you are sold on the agent, and that's very, very important, ask your agent or your potential agent tough questions like, do you own a house? Not saying that the best agents own houses, but I'm not gonna go to a dentist that don't have teeth in their mouth. That's all I'm saying. So ask those tough questions. Do you own a house? And if or if you're looking for investment property, ask that agent, do you have investment properties? So on and so forth. So the buyer's rep agreement, to bring all of this full circle, the buyer's rep agreement is to protect you, and also to protect the agent, because the agent doesn't want to do a whole lot of working for free either. So it's to keep everybody honest, and look out for the best interest of the buyer. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we know how, we understand the contracts. We'll help you walk you through your inspections, the
Mhm.
appraisal, everything, so you carry out the contract accordingly to make sure that we get you in that home.
With
So
the inspection, though, with the inspection, Miss Martin, can you break down what the inspection is, and what the typical cost is, and who pays that cost?
but I sort of want to go in order, but we can go off into that if you want.
Let's just
Um,
bounce around a little bit. Let's be
okay,
fun.
that's fine. So with the home inspection, it's nothing mandatory or required, right? It's not a
Hmm.
required. However, I would say whether new construction or an existing home for you to get an inspection.
Hmm.
I work with a lot of new construction homes for clients, and it's been several times when things have popped up. At one time, it was a dishwasher that was not connected. If they would not have had that home inspection, they would not have known, right?
Hmm.
So things can happen even if it's new construction.
Hmm.
Buildings are imperfect too, so you
Yeah.
definitely want to make sure that you do have a home inspection. And typically when you're buying new construction, that home inspector will take that whole list as a punch list. The builder would take that whole list as a punch list and go ahead and fix everything on that list anyway.
Hmm.
So definitely make sure that you do have a home inspection that is paid by you, out of pocket, nothing to do
Hmm.
with your loan. Typically ranged between 350, 450, 650, depends on the size of the house. And if
Hmm.
you're doing this, if you're doing a home inspection plus radon, or if you're doing some other additional inspections as well. Termite inspection is also something that typically you do in most homes. You do a termite letter, right? So because you want to know if that home has termites. If it does, the seller will remediate those and has to take care of that for you. But you do that letter, and that can range from $30 to $60 or more, depending upon which company that you use as well.
Right.
So these are some of the upfront costs that you'll wind up spending when you find the home. Of course, we haven't got to find the home yet because we got to get you pre-approved. But definitely,
Hmm.
these are upfront costs. So, and I'll sort of mention too when we do hit some things that are upfront, so you'll know what you have to have already in the bank account or set aside for closing costs and home inspection and some of those things. As we get to those, we'll talk about those, some things that you're going to have in your bank saved up.
Yeah. Now, to segue back to a step that we kind of skipped over, is your financing. That is just as important as finding a good realtor, as finding a good lender, somebody that can fit your needs. No two loans are really alike. Just because you both work at I don't know, Assurion, because I feel like I have on an Assurion headset. Doesn't necessarily mean that you both need the same kind of loan and the same kind of finance. And so finding a lender is really the step after finding a realtor and before the step of getting a home inspection. Do you want to expound on that,
But we
Latanya?
help you with that. We
Yes,
help you with
the
that.
realtor
So
will help. The realtor will help you find and should be able to help you find the proper lender because there are several different loans. You got FHA, VA, THDA, conventional, so on and so forth. Your realtor should be knowledge enough to tell you what's the best loan for you and take you to a lender to secure that financing. Hmm.
mhm. Absolutely. So you could be your lender. They're called a lender, a mortgage loan officer, a
Hmm.
mortgage professional. Um, those are all terms of the same person. They're the ones
Yeah.
who you submit your application to
Hmm.
help you. They'll help you in the process of trying to get approved for a home.
Hmm.
And then once you get approved, of course, it goes into underwriting. Once we find you that home, you go into underwriting. And underwriter is that person in the back office who you'll never see, but there's
Right.
the one who decide if they're going to give you that loan or not
Hmm.
based on the profile and file and paperwork that you've submitted and that your lender has presented to that underwriter, right?
Hmm.
So you got your realtor, he or she just got you approved, and we work with multiple loan officers and mortgage professionals. So
Hmm.
you can always shop. Now a couple of years ago they implemented where how you used to shop for cars and you go and you shop around. They only give you one hit. Sort of the same thing with lenders. I think now you can shop up to three, and you
Right.
only get
Before.
one credit hit
Yeah.
because you will get a credit hit,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it only count one time.
Hmm.
Um, and you'll be able to get your feel of the one that you feel is the right fit. So you also want to ask them, just like you're going to interview your realtor, you want to interview your lender as well,
Hmm.
and just ask them some general questions. What's the interest rate right now? Based on my credit, you can ask before they pull it, especially if you know what your mortgage score is, not just your Credit Karma,
Credit
which is
score.
not
Yeah.
a credit monitoring company. If you know what your real score is, because that mortgage loan officer professional is going to take your three mortgage scores and use whatever that middle score
Middle.
is, right?
Yes.
Whatever the middle number is.
Hmm.
Not the highest, not the lowest, but whichever one is the middle number is the one that they'll go off of, to say that that's your credit score, right?
Hmm.
Um, so hey, you got your agent, you got pre-approved. We did our buyer's rep. Now we're shopping for homes. Let the fun begin, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's talk a little about the market right now. Of course, as you know, even during COVID, real estate has not stopped. We are still
At
buying.
all.
We are real estate is not going. I will say inventory is low.
Hmm.
I will say we probably got more buyers pre-approved that may be looking, and sometimes we're even doing multiple offers depending upon the price range of the buyer.
Right.
So it's hard to find a home under $300,000. They're out there, but I will say if you're approved for less than 300, we may not be getting a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bathroom with a bonus room and you know
Hmm.
2 car garage. It may not be 2020. So we're going to talk about exactly what that means and what that looks like when we do your home search. So typically, once you get approved, we do a buyer's consultation, just sort of tell you how the process is going to go and sort of keep you updated as to how the flow of things need to go and the communication that we want to make sure that we keep. Because again, we're talking about the people that are part of your power team that you're going to continue to be in contact with to make things run smooth throughout the process.
Hmm.
Um, Anything you want to add to that? I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Okay, so back to the real estate agent or the real estate broker, they will be that buffer between you and your whole power team. Like in football, your real estate agent would be the quarterback or maybe even the coach because the real estate agent will keep all these moving pieces in place. You're not going to necessarily deal with the underwriter. You're not going to, you're going to deal with the home inspector kind of on a touch and go, title company, touch and go, the appraiser, same way. The real estate agent is going to be in the middle of all of that, breaking it down to you in layman terms. And a good agent will take so much of the pressure and stress off of you, because at each and every one of these terms where there's a spot where something needs to be renegotiated or can be renegotiated, it's a very, very stressful time. The realtor should take all of that stress off of you. But we'll have to do a whole nother segment on, after the home inspection, the resolution period and the appraisal period, and all of that. We'll do a whole nother segment on that. But a great agent will be that buffer between you and all of these other key people. Yeah. Hmm.
But your lender is going to be the one, once we go under contract with your home, right? So during the pre-approval process, you're pre-approved. Your lender's going to expect you to turn in certain documents and paperwork. It's going to be important that the communication between you and your lender, as
Yes.
you and your realtor, is maintained,
Hmm.
because in order for you to close based on the date that we have in that contract, there are performance dates that have to be met. So you
Right.
have to make sure that you've given him your documents, and he may ask for more. He may ask for the same thing,
Same
right?
document over and over and over. Don't ask why. Send the document. Don't call
Absolutely.
you don't call your agent. I just sent him this 3 times. Send it a fourth time, because that going back to the underwriter, right? The underwriter is your best friend and worst enemy, because the underwriter, basically, this is what I feel like the underwriter is. The underwriter is trying to figure out every single reason you cannot afford this house. So they're going to keep looking over documents. They're going to look over your pay stubs. They're going to check your credit. They're going to make sure that the house appraises for the loan amount. They're going to make sure that your home inspection, if you're falling into certain programs, they're going to look at your home inspection. But the underwriter doesn't want you to have that house, theoretically, because if you can make it through the underwriting process, there's nobody can say you can't afford the house. That is their whole point, because if you default on that house, people start looking at how did this happen, and it falls on the underwriter. Typically, the underwriter has to say, at the end of the day, this person can afford the house. It's more than you want to buy this house from this person over here. Once you get loans and banks involved, it is not, it's a lot deeper than, hey, I want to buy that house. Hey, I want to sell that house. Let's do it. No, 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 no. You're going to have people, specifically the underwriter, that's going to say, John Doe or Jane Doe, since I've asked you for these documents 5 times, and your credit hasn't changed, your work history hasn't changed, your debt to income hasn't changed, you can afford this house. But if something is out of order, if you want to argue about turning in this document for the fifth time, they're gonna drag that loan out, and at the end of the day, if you walk away from that house, uh,
Or
as
lose it.
unfortunate, or lose it, as unfortunate as it is, the underwriter, they're going to continue on doing their job, and that's just that. So,
Right.
yeah,
So if
please
you think
turn in
about
the
it,
paperwork.
absolutely, you think
Mm.
about somebody giving you $250,000 or
Right?
four hundred fifty thousand dollars or $600,000 or whatever, they're
Mhm.
going to scrutinize every little piece of
Exactly.
paper. So that's why I
Right.
want you to understand that your frontline realtor,
Mm-hmm.
your frontline lender, when your lender's asking you for something, there's a reason, because
Mm-hmm.
he's building a profile of you. He's making a picture. He's putting
Mm-hmm.
on your makeup. He's making you look good, because the underwriter doesn't know you as a person. So you got to be that person on paper,
On
right? So
paper,
your
right?
lender's helping you become that person on paper that you need to be in order to qualify for that loan. So they're telling you what they need, and you
Mm-hmm.
just have to make sure that you're providing that information from them.
Right. And they're saying, like she said, like Latanya said, these people are giving you 250,000, 300, $500,000. Now, somebody come ask you for $500. How many questions you gonna ask them? So you can't be messed up with you getting a $500,000 loan, and they want to check your job, your pay stub, or make sure that you haven't. Another very important thing: do not open up a new line of credit after you've applied for a loan. Make sure you
Absolutely.
talk to your lender and say, "Hey, as small as it may be, hey, Best Buy's having a sale on washer and dryers. I'm gonna get a Best Buy card. please contact your lender because that right there can kill your deal. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about a few more deal killers, right?
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
you're under contract, you're about to buy this home, do not change your job. Do not become
Mm-mm.
self employed. Do not quit your job. If
Do
you
not
become
come.
on furlough, that means you're unemployed. So, you may not be
Church.
able to move forward with this loan.
Hmm.
Do not do forbearance. That's not even on my list, and I'm just telling you that because that has to come off before you're even eligible to get a loan. But don't buy a car, truck, or van,
Hmm.
or you may be living in it. Here's the thing: if you buy a vehicle, they already ran my credit. Let me go get this new car. They changed
Mm-mm.
the income ratio, and they can pull your credit whenever they want to. They
Yeah.
can pull your credit again right
Yeah.
before you close. They're going to check to make sure you're at your job right before you close, day of closing, day of closing, day before closing. So
Mm.
if your debt to income has changed, meaning you added on more debt and you now can no longer afford this home, you will not be able to get it.
Right.
And think about by that time, you've already moved out of your apartment, you've already stopped your lease, you already got your moving van in place, you might already be packed up. So don't
Hmm.
do anything that's going to terminate your home or buying your home. So I say eat ramen noodles if you have to, do whatever you
Hmm.
need to do, but don't make any changes to your debt or credit during this
Hmm.
time.
And
Also, as well, don't go shopping.
hmm.
If you get the 20% off for opening up a new credit card, don't do it. Don't
Hmm.
load up any cards. Don't fall behind on the cards that you do have, and try to keep them under 30% limit as far as the spending limit underneath the credit limit rather. Don't spend any money you have set for closing. Have it saved. Don't put large amounts of money in the bank. So what's the question? Where are you getting your money from? Where
Yeah.
what do you have saved for your
Yeah.
down payment and closing? So if
Uh-huh.
you're either getting grants, loans, you got a 401k,
Hmm.
you got an IRA, you got money somewhere else, or are you getting money from friends and family?
Hmm.
Right? Which you can, but there's a way that that money has to come to you, right?
Hmm.
They have to see where it came out of their account and where it went into your account. So if you have money under the bed, do not put that in your bank account.
Hmm.
Not be used. Now, some lenders, I will say, some lenders can go up to 1% of cash that you might have in other places. So again, everything I'm telling you, check with your lender to make sure.
Yeah.
So again, we talked about your lender's your friend. So you tell that person everything, your debts, liabilities, because they'll find out anyway. That underwriter's
Hmm.
going to do a whole search on you. So just
Yeah.
make sure you go ahead and disclose it, and he'll tell you what he will use or not use. Don't buy any furniture. What happens is a lot of times, especially with new construction, because they're not providing refrigerators, you have clients uh, start shopping for Home Depot, shopping for their refrigerator, a few days or a week or so before closing because they want to make sure when I move in, everything is there. Don't do that. Don't put anything on any type of card or use your credit or use the money that you have saved because they need to know that you do have so many months of income in your bank account. All right.
Hmm.
So don't buy any furniture. When I have clients call me, I had a client call me and was asking me, "What's the measurements of the refrigerator?" I was like, "Why? Where you at?" "Oh, I'm at Lowe's." I was like, "I'm not telling you what you need to know for. Get out of there. You're not buying nothing right now."
Yeah.
But that particular time, their family member was purchasing it, so I
Yeah.
was like, oh, "Okay, that's fine." But you yourself do not do anything. No new inquiries. Don't change banks, and of course, don't co-sign a loan for anyone else because
Mm.
that's part of your debt now.
Yep. Don't change your debt. Don't change your income.
Right.
Just keep it all the same. We're just talking 45 days on most traditional loans, unless it's new construction where it's going ground up. But until once you turn in that application, and they give you a lender letter, do not change your income or your expenses until
Mhm.
closing. Very, very important.
Mhm. Unless they tell you to bring boost your credit score to pay off
Right.
something, but don't do anything the lender does
Or
not tell you to
ask.
do.
Ask your lender. Ask your lender. But I've seen this is something else that will kill your deal. Let's say your spouse or whoever, your brother, sister, hey, I hit the numbers and I just want to give you $3,000. Here you go, sis. Don't you take that money? Because if you take that, don't put that money in your bank account. Because you put that money in that bank account, they want to know where that money came from, and that's a conversation you do not want to have. You know, put it back under the bed. Well, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with it. Okay, I'm gonna just say talk to your lender, and before you accept any money, because it will kill your deal. Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, because think about this. If you don't have any money and you're
Mm.
going down to the check cash in place, or to
Oh, don't do that either. Don't do that.
don't do it, but I'm saying that's
Yeah.
what it looks like. Where did you get this money from out the blue?
Yeah.
Oh, I found it. You can't be
Mm.
borrowing money to get money,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Unless
Right.
you done it, unless you like maybe own a home and you did like an equity line of credit or something,
Mm.
months before, and you have that sitting there and y'all have already worked all that out. There's a way
Mm.
to do everything, right?
Exactly. But you have to be
The
transparent.
right way, absolutely, and do it the
Yeah.
right way. Ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. My thing
Yes.
is, a lot of people are wondering what to do, and then you don't do nothing, or else you just do what you want to do, and then you mess
Hmm.
yourself up. So
Right. And
don't do
that.
anything without
Oh.
getting confirmation.
Oh, can I touch on that? Can I touch on that? Okay. Buying a house is not like anything else that you've probably done other than buy a house. So just because it makes sense when you buy a car or when you buy groceries or when you renting a house, don't apply that to buying a house because you'll be surprised how many times somebody does something and say, "Well, that doesn't make sense because, well, when I bought a car, I was." You're not buying a car right now. You have to be very, very transparent with your agent and with the lender because we're all going to find out everything anyway. You'll be surprised how many times somebody will have somebody may be uh separated but not divorced. And they bought 1,000 cars and it never came up. They were able to rent 1,000 houses and it never came up. But now that they're about to purchase, it comes up and it's like, oh, I forgot to tell you that we separated but not divorced. And legally that spouse has rights to that house, and so that gets a little messy. But if you tell the lender and the real estate professional up front, hey, we separated but we not divorced, there are things that can be done to be able to push that loan on through. Or if somebody has passed and you say, hey, I want to sell my mom's house, okay, who's all on the deed? No, it's just me on the deed. But then as it gets on down the road, you got 4 or 5 sisters all across the United States of America, and you felt like they weren't gonna find them. Guess what? They found them, and that's a whole nother situation. So it's very important to be honest and transparent
Mhm.
in the
And with
beginning.
and with what Rob said about title and clear title, the title company, right, will be working on your behalf as well.
Mm.
So they'll be making sure that the home that you're purchasing doesn't have any additional owners on it, that you get a
Mhm.
clear title, you get title insurance. So you have a title, and that's also where you go to close, or who will close
Mhm.
you to, your title company that's making sure you have clear title. So even if you're a seller, typically before we put your home on the market, we go ahead and check title as well, because sometimes,
Mhm.
especially with air property, there's a lot of paperwork process that needs to be done, and a lot of other people may need to sign it besides the one person that you're talking with. So we
Mm.
make sure that we get the correct paperwork and process, and that we make sure, of course, that you're selling or buying that home with clear title so that it can pass on to the next person. So that's a title company, and title company, closing agency. They'll be working on that on the back end, but they'll also be the company that will send you your information as far as your final numbers. Besides your lender who'll give it to you, they'll send you a statement showing your breakdown of numbers, as well as your wiring instructions for your down payment and closing costs that you have to bring. And then you'll go there to sign your 100 pages or 50 pages, however many pages, to sign that you are either selling this home or purchasing this home. And we talked about real estate mostly for buyers, but as a seller, if you're on here and you're a seller, of course, you are the ones responsible for the realtor commissions. So that will be negotiated with the real estate, agent, and of course, and the seller. But the sellers do pay the real estate commissions at the end.
Yes, and it works though. It works especially if you're selling a house and then you turn around and purchasing a house. Then
Mhm.
it's a wash. But even if you're just selling, your agent is going to earn that money So you should be happy to give them that money. I'm going to earn that money. Latanya's going to earn that money. So you should be happy to give us that money. Did we hit everybody? I feel like we're missing somebody. We did the home
No.
inspector, the
Mhm.
underwriter,
Talk
the
about the term.
appraiser. We didn't hit the appraiser.
Oh,
You
the
want to cover
appraiser.
the appraiser? Yeah.
Yeah. So an appraiser is the person when you, as a purchaser, when you're purchasing a home, the lender will order an appraisal. That's also an out-of-pocket expense. It can range from $475 to $700. Sort of depends on what that company charges. But an appraiser is the one who will make sure that you're not purchasing that home for more than what it's worth, right?
Mm,
So when they come back with that number, it hasn't been too many lately that have been under, the sales price. And actually, I did just have one that was about $30,000 difference.
mm,
I forgot about that. But once that happens, then we go back to the seller and renegotiate the price. I've
mhm.
only had one time in my 18 years where the seller was like, "Nope, I'm not going to renegotiate it. I'll just rent it out."
Yeah.
But that was only one time. Usually, typically, we're able to renegotiate the contract and get it down to the appraised value. Otherwise, if we did not, that would be whatever that difference is in your contract price and your appraisal. You would have to have that and bring that out of pocket. And
Hmm.
typically, one, no nobody want to do that, but two, you may not have those funds to do that as well.
Hmm. Okay. So it looks like we're about to be over our 30-minute thing, but
Oh
yeah, I mean, we just got off into it, but I just want to add um, that the lender, the real estate agent or broker, the home inspector, the underwriter, the appraiser, uh, and the title
title company.
company, this is your team that are getting you from A to Z. Everybody has your best interest in mind, and everybody has a job to do. And a lot of these people, this is the most beautiful thing about a real estate transaction, especially for the buyer. The agent doesn't have any control over who the appraiser is, nor does the underwriter have any control over who the title company is. Everybody works independently, performing their service, covering their own tail in your best interest at the same time. So it's not where could you imagine a real estate deal where the agent and the lender and the title company and the appraiser and the closing company all worked in the same building, they were all the same company, then it would be unfair to you. But by being all of these people from these different companies, it makes it fair to the buyer. So you should shake off any kind of fear that you have, because it's never a perfect time to purchase real estate. It's never a perfect time to buy your first house. You have to cast those fears aside and do it, do it, do it.
And on my end, it's always a perfect time to buy, especially now because rates are low. Perfect time to buy and sell because rates are low.
Oh man.
Inventory is low, but we can get you in one. We will definitely do that. But we appreciate you all who have watched and who will watch this later because again, it's live streamed.
Yeah.
It's Keeping Real Estate with Mack and Martin. We're
Hmm.
talking about your real estate power team, who's involved in your real estate transaction. And again, we have an upcoming home buyers class this Saturday from 11 to 1. Go to latanyamartin.com, click on events, and you can RSVP there. You'll see Step into Home Ownership. Thank you, Rob. I've enjoyed it again. Next time we'll try to keep it under 30 minutes.
Under
But
30 minutes, we're gonna try our best. We're gonna try our best. But this
right.
is how we do.
Until then, keep
I'm gonna get my headset game together too, because this right here is space age, but I'm cool.
okay, we could just use your computer mic. All right. Thanks again, guys. Talk
Didn't
to
even
you
think about
soon.
that. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.